Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the canyon. Welcome back to the bench. Welcome back to a video brought to you by a combination of factors mostly outside my grasp. First and foremost among that, Tight Bond Quick and Thick. Shout out to Tight Bond Quick and Thick, because viewers of the Friday video will know that I have to build these little holiday houses. I have to build over 50 of them. And inside this building right now, it's 41 degrees. It's 36 degrees outside. That's one of the factors that's allowing this video to be done, which is like that glue. Oh, that glue doesn't even move. It is quick drying and it is very thick. And you can't even get it out of the bottle when the bottle is 41 degrees. But if you combine that and a handful of Irwin Quick Grips, our other motivator. So what this allowed me to do, I have 8 of these now. My wife bought me more clamps because, you know, I need to make her holiday Etsy projects. So I could glue 8 clamps at a time. This sets up in 15 minutes. I glued there are 54 is how many pieces I ended up cutting. I glued all 54 of them in like 2 hours. Then thanks to Rust-Oleum Tall Boys, and anybody who's used a Rust-Oleum Tall Boy, particularly flat white, that stuff dries fast, even when it's frosty cold outside. It might have hit almost 60 outside. As I forecast, it was 8 hours a day. I've done 8+ hours a day, and then I was informed yesterday that she's making the centerpieces for the tables for the holiday party at work. So sometime between painting the remainder of the houses and filming this video and doing all the other stuff I have to do, I have to paint 18 mason jars. So there's that. But this video brought to you by the fact that it's 41, and what did I say, 41 inside, 36 outside. Ain't nobody spray paint when it's 36 degrees, especially because I left the cans of spray paint out on the table outside. So the cans of spray paint are 36 degrees. This loops back around to the glue and the clamp. So I would clamp 8, and then I had already built them all. I had already nailed them all, so I had nothing to do for 20 minutes. Well, not nothing. There's faffing about to be done at all times. So I did say in installment 4, it came from the Workbench Vol.10, episode 4, which I think I called episode 3 and was actually 4. That would make this one 5. This is episode 5. I said it's going to be done. And you know what? It is done. Okay. I still think the cage part looks a little tall. And I think somebody mentioned in the comments, it might be because the seat backs are so low. Like if the seat back was another ½ inch high, it might look more right. But I'm ecstatic with how this came out. Now I went over the whole thing with Duplicolor flat, which apparently to them, as you can see by the reflections of the lights right here, flat means satin. Because everywhere it touched, there's a now, in defense of Duplicolor Clear, it was in the 50s. Probably 10 degrees below when I should have been spraying that. But it dried nice. It didn't make the paint weird. I still love the fact that because I did the base layers when it was too cold, it's got that crackle effect. And then when I painted these, now mind you, the bleeds are on purpose. I wanted it to look like it was spray painted, but I didn't want to get the airbrush out. I didn't want to do any of that. So that's our good friend Multi-Surface, the Folk Art Multi-Surface Black. I just printed out a stencil on the Cricut, cut it, brushed it, and was hoping. I got a little more bleeds than I wanted. I wanted the edges to be a little fuzzy, and the edges did indeed come out a little fuzzy. The body went together pretty well, but honestly, what I would do is, in between doing my assignments, I would come back and do a little here, do a little there. My God. This is not the body. It's so much work, and so much glue. And what I ended up having to do is I didn't trust just a layer of double-sided tape to hold those in. They want these with the bubbles facing in, so they're like inverse. I like them facing out, like the way the headlights face out. And then when I did all the clear, I forgot to do stuff like I forgot to throw a piece of mask over the rearview mirrors, so now the rearview mirrors are clouded. But I think everything else came out great. I did indeed paint the seats by hand. Let me reach under here. I just sprayed the tan onto a piece of polypropylene, which you can just wipe that off now. And then just painted it by hand. 2 coats, came out really nice. It's actually a little bit flat in there on the console. This is truck bed coating. Came out great. Everything went in great. If I had minor complaints, they would be things like this. So there's just 4 screws in each external fender, and then like the way Traxxas does, there's just a bolt like molded in. The inner fenders have all the holes. Just give us all the holes. Give us an extra, 16 screws? I feel like it would be a lot more solid. Also, same hot glue treatment front and rear. Body feels very stiff, as the body should. It is somewhere in between a Lexan body and a hard body, really. It's about 20 ounces because, anytime you get into internal fenders and stuff, the weight's going to go up. Someone in the comments mentioned that because the way this is bolted on, there's a good chance that I'm going to rip that thing out. Yeah, when I was bolting it together, I was like, that's a bit of a span. And I did throw this guy on the scale. 7 pounds, 4 ounces RTR with the battery and everything. And I did make a conscious effort to keep weight down bumper-wise. So this is one of the, I had bought the Ultra bumpers when building Eddie, that guy right there. So he's running an Ultra front bumper for his rear bumper because it fit perfectly with that Traxxas body. This is the Ultra rear bumper, which I must say, I think fits pretty goodly with the back of this body. Look at that. Trimmed it up along the sides. That bumper goes in there nice. So the way that was accomplished was I was digging around trying to find aluminum, and then I was like, what do you need aluminum for? And I had white Delrin rod, actually white Delrin tube. It already had a hole, so I knew I would drill them centric. It's a letter M. If you ever want to drill something out to fit a bumper pin, it is a letter M drill bit. Tap the bumper in, put aluminum pins, then drilled it and tapped it, and I'm using Traxxas bumper pins, 2 bumper pins there. Very, very solid. Like nothing's going anywhere. For the front, I had some sort of axial front bumper that the curves and the lines of it, because it used to curve much further, like a bat wing, it curved much further back. So I just kept taking it to the sander and taking it down, taking it down, taking it down. And then little bits of cuts with the Dremel to fit around the front grille. There is that Ecto winch. Sanded down a bit to clear the grill. Some Traxxas plastic, like trying to keep the plastic content up to keep the weight down a little. And it's the bolts, it's the shock tower bolts right here. That's what gets cut. So you kind of got to rock the body rear to front. But I mean, look at that. That, like, I don't know if I could be happier with that. And that was a $0 expenditure on the front and rear bumpers. Oh, also pulled the bead locks apart. These were the ones that had the black rings. Dug through my bin, had some silver rings. I think these are the rings that were cast off either when I was building the Banana or the rings that I should have used when I built the Banana, because I think I bought rings. Anyway, there are those rings. Replaced them with scale hardware. This was the scale hardware that was pulled off of Jake's falling apart wheels. I really like this thing with the all silver wheels. And These are the Monster Grip treated canyon trails. So this guy's ready to go. It will never look this good again. We're gonna take it out to the course, and in the rising sun, I am going to take a couple pictures of it in its beauty and glory, because y'all know me, man. I'm probably gonna roll it within the first 2 minutes, and it's gonna hurt. The Krylon camo paint is really tough. I've used it on all kinds of materials, usually with no prime, and it works great. I'm really happy with how this one came out, and it looks, almost forgot a note. The height here, I think what it is I think when they did this, they did it to like basically 1/8 scale, because if you look at this if you imagine this is an 1/8 scale, it starts to look kind of right. It would put these tires in at about a 39. It, like that angle right there, that looks pretty right. We'll see. We don't have it on video, so we'll have to see what this looks like on video to see how it looks. And much as I rue getting out from in front, that heater, you can hear right there, blowing directly on my back, we're going to go outside and freeze my hands. And we're going to get some running of this and see how it does. Oh, yeah, I weighed all three. So Argentum, the full Phoenix, Eddie, the straight axle, half Traxxas, half Phoenix, and this guy, they're all in a quarter pound, in 4 ounces. There's 4 ounces between the heaviest one and the lightest one. This one is the lightest one. The full Phoenix is the heaviest one, and Eddie is right in the middle. They're like 7.4, 7.6, 7.8. That's just what a Phoenix weighs, I guess. Like, unless you put an ecto body on it, and that is a common thread among my three. Like, interior up there with the full Vanquish, the full Phoenix body, this thing with the cage and internal fenders, and then Eddie with lights, grills, the whole thing. So, let's see how it does, and then at some time in the hopefully near future, Christmas very close. We're definitely in a 2-minute warning for Christmas. I would love to do a 3-way head-to-head Phoenix. But for today, just the one Phoenix. I'm super excited. Let's see how Blackjack do. We begin as we always do. And I don't want to hear any chirping from the Canadians or fellow dwellers of the Arctic Circle. Baby, it is cold outside. It is properly cold. So we'll forgive him any minor failings. But what? Get out. Okay, yes. I had forgotten that the Monster Grip canyon trails are pretty monster grippy. Drag brake. And then that low speed of the Fusion. I definitely fell into a spot I don't want to be in. There we go. Wow, he is an ascender. I have not gone scale yet, on the scales yet, to find CGH or weight. Oh, that was good right there. Look at that back bumper. That should be plenty. That should be plenty of ground clearance. Okay, it's cold and this thing's gonna crash multiple times, I imagine. But let's try active track and see where we get. That seems right. And now active track won't relinquish. That is a good looking thing. I really like those. I don't know if I'm running all silvers on too many rigs. I really like the all silvers on here. Wow, the Monster Grip Canyon Trail is monster grippy. Now we're getting some track. I have to split my attention. Try to get a little bursty, because I have to keep checking the display here. Oh, I'm in I'm in the perfectly worst spot. Okay, let's. Yeah, there's if you're looking for a scale servo, and you have a couple different places and ways to spend your money. The behavior of this, I mean, I actually kind of like that. I've complained in the past about having servos that are too fast, especially when hopping rig to rig. This guy, this is the expensive option in, I think I got the front bumpers buried in. Oh, that dig is good. I would say, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, Amazon Blue Case non-pro, the 35 kg Animo, Sasuke, whatever, has about that same, but strong. If you've got some money to spend and you want something a little nicer, I would still say RS700. It's real good. The 500 and the 800 are like, oh yeah, are like blistering fast compared to this thing. Look how high that thing can get up. Dig. And now the torque, and by torque I mean TORQ. What is it? The 0508. Whatever that servo that's in there is called. That thing has ruined me. I was perfectly 100% happy and content with the JX4409, but we should be able to hear it still. Not really, it's so quiet. The dig activation is like lightning. It comes on so fast. So now, I mean, I'm not gonna run out. I think I got the torque servo for about $40. I've got a lot of servos with dig. I mean, I've got a lot of rigs with dig. I don't think I'm financially secure enough to put fast micro servos and everything. I might just start going to full cases in places, full case fat, like this might be, well, no, those are $40 a piece. It works so good that when I run another rig with dig, like running Jake 4409 in there, I'm like, like it feels like there's a lag in between. I'm just staring at this thing and being like, look how good that looks. I'm coming around to the roof. It desperately needs at least a driver figure. I mean, we didn't make 7 pounds, we made 7 pound 4. So if I put it, okay, new goal, new cop-out goal. If I can keep the weight below that of the full Phoenix, we'll take it. And I'm willing to sacrifice to put a driver in it. And of course, Fusion Pro, 75 tooth. The 75 tooth paired with the 12 is so smooth and quiet. And then the low speed on that Fusion is just nonsense. I can't wait for the SEs. I have a couple rigs I want to try SEs in. The Fusion is hands down my favorite. Oh yeah, that was what I was looking for. What's the angle there? We'll see on his ability to go up backwards what our weight split is. And yeah, is he gonna make it, or is he gonna roll it? Woo! I was gonna roll it. I think the weight distribution. Okay, I'm gonna guess. If there's time, I'll weigh it before the conclusion of this. I cannot feel my hands, but I want to hit some more lines. I'm gonna guess 53.47. That's my semi-educated guess. Let's hit a different line, maybe one that has me sitting a little more in the sun. Head over to what is becoming the unofficial Daphne's line, although Jake absolutely destroyed it a couple days ago. I like to hit that rock just straight on because there's a wheelbase thing. Try to dig that around. The dig is so good. Now this is where the risk is of rolling it. Okay, no drag on the rear bumper. Get that down. I need to get, I'm a little, I actually, he got so much bite in that he's far higher up than I thought he would be, so we'll take it real slow. Take it down again. I need to get that passenger front, this being right-hand drive, right onto that rock, okay? Now give me some bite. Nope. Nope. We're not rolling it that soon. I think I just didn't dig enough. Okay, there it is, there it is. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't get anything hung up. Use them portals. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, smaller reset this time. Yeah, if anyone saw that short of Jake hitting this, this is one of the tougher lines, at least for my modest wheeling skills. Oh, it's just pulling that rear end. There's a little, okay, front tire's going right through it right there. That little spot, I don't know why. So I had come and packed this in with mortar mix. It just all used to be loose dirt. And right there, what is dead center of frame right here, used to be like a little hollow. And when I filled in that hollow, it actually made this much more difficult because rear tire's about to get there right now. It just, there's nothing, it just wants to flip you. And I want to get right there, but see the front end sliding. These rocks have to be frozen. And other things that don't like the cold, apparently apps. There's our first crash. We actually made it, a good while before that crashed. But that wasn't just the screen turns different colors and goes yum, 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 yum. That was the crash all the way to where the phone was locked. Had to unlock the phone, go back in, reopen the app. Yeah, the DJI Mimo app is, I don't, not to sound like a broken record, but it is not great. Okay, there's a little rear bumper hang. Yeah, I just get shuttled. So, okay, here's the problem. Is it setup? Is it components? Or is it that I'm trying to hit the line the same way I hit it in other rigs? Well, that's real high. Every rig's, and I build them this way. So it's partially my own fault. But like I said, Argentum, Eddie, and Blackjack are within a quarter of a pound. There's a 4-ounce difference between the three. They all drive wildly differently, very differently. Even if I were to put, like, say, Canyon Trails on all of them, they would still behave differently because, well, Eddie's a VFD straight axle. Argentum is a VFD twin straight axle. Argentum is a VFD twin portal. And this guy is a dig gearboxed, super low pro motor. Yeah, I'm more curious to find the CGH than I am the front to rear, because he drives, and I will say it's early on. We don't have a ton of wheeling into this, but he drives super neutral. We are at some point gonna have to hit some side hill, see how he does. Canyon Trails are always a help because they're a little lower. Well, that's a good shot. I feel like I gotta get a shot of that. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. So that this doesn't run on, I don't have all day. I gave my wife a window of how much time I had in between Pinterest facilitation and doing this. So I got about I got like 25 more minutes. This is all, we're working in real time, everybody. We're gonna take it to the low side hill over there. We got 2 low side hills over in Ancient Kingdom Precious Stones area, and then over by the Beast, there's side hills over there. I don't want to do Big Cliffhanger, the guy that's right outside his bumper. That's too big of a side hill. I don't want to fall off that yet. When they're when they're new and they're pretty, you don't want to fall as much. And then we will do Daphne's third, and then we will go back inside. I will put the heater on my hands so that I can feel them again. I'll get this guy on the scales, and I'll give you guys some numbers. So side hills, Daphne's third, numbers. call it a day. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. It's just so quiet. It's great how quiet he is. We'll see how well we camouflage into the Palo Verde here. Yeah, I took that very aggressively into there. This isn't a huge side hill, but there are a bunch of trees to get stuck in, and it's not the most even thing in the world. We're not even going to try active track here. Now I'm going to try to, there's that big rock to pivot around. We're going to try to dig swing here. I don't know how much you could see. I couldn't see anything. It just composed. Let's try this. Let's try this little bit right here. And the precious stones here. Should be fairly high grip. Oh, kind of shuttling it. Keep it slow. Keep it slow. Reposition. Come on. Yeah, sometimes it is a bit of a luxury with that front end moving that slowly. Ah, that's nice. That was a good pivot. Almost out of frame, but we pivoted. I think we're far enough away from Gate Rover that he can't hear me, and Ironsides, you know. But like, I think this is my favorite defender. Like look at that guy. Look at that guy. You know, they make a roof basket that goes on the top. I think I'm gonna have to get that. It just needs something to finish out the top. It needs a driver figure and a roof basket, and to hit the other side hill over here, because this side hill is the question of confidence, which is how confident do you feel? And I'm really glad that I canyon created this in, because it was just washing away as dirt. Yeah, he is planted as all get out. It is a high grip surface, sure. And again, I mentioned, and that's upturning. Little bit of rub there in the front. I might be able to Dremel out a little more in there. I'm just keeping it locked to see what we can do on the pivot here. Front end sliding a little bit. That's both front wheels just off the ground. Yeah, the low speed on that Pro is just so good. So the real counselor of the confidence checker is, you got the pole there, and I'll already tell you, he can't make that. There's a couple rigs that can. But you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Because you have to be in the spot. Okay. Oh. It's moving. It is still moving. I think the rear end is too low. Oh, hold on. There it is. We got it out of the way, and I would say it was actually a best case scenario. He bonged pretty good. Like, it was a little springy action on there. Seems none the worse for wear. So as I said, we're running tight. Daphne's third, because I want to see maybe the notch. Daphne's third. Scales. Call it a day. Trying to stick to the plan. I still have a lot of painting to do. And on the transfer from location to location, I think I may have figured it out. I was walking directly behind him, driving like that. I carry the bucket chair on my pinky, and then I drive with this hand, and I hold the whole camera rig, which is on an 81-inch tripod, in the other hand. And as I'm walking behind him, I thought to myself, it's not that he looks super scale, because I think the proportions are still the tiniest bit weird. I think what it is that it doesn't look like an RC car, right? This thing looks like, let me frame him up here. This thing looks like something you would have as a kid. Like it looks like you know those European companies that make the European companies that make those, you go to those ritzy toy stores and they have those fancy, like we got Tonkas and they have those like fancy Tonkas that make like European semis and street sweepers and stuff, and they're like super detailed and they look really cool. That's what that looks like to me. Like it doesn't look like it should be able to move. So then when it can move and drive up rocks and stuff, it takes it to a whole nother level. And when I was building it, really, really and truly, it took me back. Like we flew back in time like I was in a time machine. Because I have mentioned in another video, I got my start it was Hasegawa and Tamiya, building models, armor models, plane models. And building this thing, it took me back. I felt like I was doing another Hasegawa armor model. Come on, settle. Dig it. There we go. He's in a good spot still. We'll see if it has enough or if he's gonna push wide. It's kind of crabbing. Just trying to. Honestly, I'm just trying to warm the tires a little. Repo. What is the driver's side rear for this? Right rear. I just need something. I need the tiniest grab. You can see it's in a perfect little shadow notch there. But yeah, the tiniest bit of steer the other way. Can we pull it? Should I have trimmed the rockers more? Yeah, I think it's all right. Yeah, it's not, I don't know, composition of the surface, not as grippy as I would have thought. And you can see from the overnight dew, and now suddenly that sun, whoa. Frozen hands, and my back is sweating. That surface is not as grippy. You can kind of see in this area, there's kind of a cave floor smoothness look to it. It's a little more tricky to traverse. Now, I'm not ready. He does feel really stable. I'm not ready to slot canyon this and pinstripe him up. He still looks too nice. This was more a test of like bumpers. Let's try the other entrance here, up the other side. Now it's more vertical on the left-hand side, but with good bumper clearance there, good rear, good approach angle. Okay, that's getting that front end really up. Trying to get a reposition. Nope. Nope, we're not gonna do it. I'm gonna move that. I had a thought. I'll see if I can remember what the thought was when I go to pick that up. He's already got a couple pinstripes down the sides, but it looks so good. I love that olive color. I think I would have still liked it in white, but this is more right to me. I was gonna say there's a little bumper hang there, but got it clear. I think we're too, I think we're too far left. You see the shape of it, the shape of that arrowhead. And sometimes a rear overhang is okay. There's a good look there. Fusion Pro once again. Come on. Stay up high. Stay up high. Don't drop. Yeah, just not enough. Well, once again, it's a canyon trail. It's not the best tire in the world. The canyon trail, to make an analogy before we go back inside where it's both hotter and colder. The canyon trail is the... Uh-oh. We've got a we've got a mechanical, folks. You heard the pop. I got front wheel drive. I think something with the servo, something with that horn that I made, something just went. The gearbox seems fine, but I'm gonna guess that something in the dig linkages just went. We'll find out, and we'll get them on the scales. So hey, look, the clock wasn't doing it. The Blackjack himself said, time to go back inside. All right, we're back in the ever so slightly warmer indoors. I still can't feel my hands, but you might notice, you can kind of, this is one of my favorite I did this of all time. So it is not a mechanical issue. It's a wheel nut issue. You know, the nut behind the wheel. That was on the ground, but how did that get on the ground, one might ask? Well, you might notice the wheelbase is shortened up just a little bit. I distinctly remember mentioning that while I was building this, there's that big, like, 30 millimeter screw that goes through there. You can see 2 empty holes. And I was like, oh, I really need to put the lock nut on that. Well, I never did. And it fell out, which allowed the rear end to do this. And then the drive shaft fell out. So everything still works fine. The lengths are still fine. Everything is fine. I just have to source another big, long M3 bolt, put it on there, and maybe this time, maybe put a lock nut on it. So, while we were in between, I did indeed fire up the Omni calculator. You can just see the edge. Well, you can see the reflection of the scales in the TV over there. Fired up the scales. I was not way off, but I was off. We've got a very gate rover situation going. 5149. So it's a sports car. 5149. Could definitely handle a little bit more weight up front. But as the top of the spur gear is the highest thing, and then we put a body on top of it. So, 7.33 pounds, 5149 front to rear, but it has a CGH of 3.85 inches. And I do that by, the Omni calculator can do it both ways. It can do rear wheels raised and front wheels raised. So I do both, and then I add the two and divide it by 2 and get the average of the front and the rear, which is 3.85 inches, 98 millimeters, which if this thing is sitting on flat ground and you rotate a tire right like that, the CG is right there. So the CGH of this is effectively the top of the chassis rail at its lowest point. So that is, I can just see that's low. That's really low. And I think that is a big contributor into why it handles as well as it does. For, like, you saw it kill Slick Rock. It does fantastic on what side hill I did. And where do we notice an issue? We notice an issue when we're trying to ascend stuff that gets too steep. And once we get past a certain tip angle, there's no load on the front tires anymore. So this is one of those instances where I might try something wacky, like I think I still have some plastic beadlocks. If just for a test, put plastic beadlocks on the rear, which would take off something like 160, 170 grams. So that would take 6 ounces out of the rear, and that effectively makes the front heavier. The other option is, the cheap option is make myself a little mold, and then you see have all that flat space right there. Just put weights inside the plastic bumper. You know, little stuff. But first and foremost, I mean, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Nothing broke. I'm just dumb. And why it wouldn't move is that when it had gone to dig and then the shaft fell out, it was effectively locked. Like, all I can think is that the drive shaft was up against the chassis or stuck into the ground, because the rear wheels wouldn't rotate it at all. As soon as I picked it up, I could spin the rear wheels. So any negative consequences from today were brought about purely by myself. Other than that, I thought it did great. For a first run out, I thought it did great. It's got some little scratches and stuff, you know, that's just gonna continue into infinity. But let me know what y'all think. How do you think he came out? I like the body. Would I buy another one? No. Well, because, you know, we can't have two of the same thing. But God, just I don't want to say it was punishment. It was fun. I got into kind of an enjoyment of it. But my Lord, the work to build this body. And then sometimes, like, I must have read it wrong. There's a hole. You probably can't see it. But just to the side of the steering wheel, there's a hole right there that I drilled that they never mention again. There's also the two. These were never mentioned again. It had so many screws left over. There are so. Oh, and also where the rear view mirrors go on, and the rear view mirrors are pretty rigid, so I'm a little bit worried about that. But they do the Traxxas method of an O-ring with a body clip. You see that it's inside this ridge, right? There's no way you're getting an O-ring in there. No way. So it just has body clips, and they fit so tight that I don't think it matters. So we got to get a driver. We got to get it put together, right? I should probably do a once-over and make sure that the bolts are actually tight, because this, it's two linking it right now. I'm pleased with it. I'm refreshed, and I'm ready to begin another 8-hour day. And oddly enough, from the minute that is occurring right now in real time, it's about 8 hours until sundown. So I have a lot of painting to do before sundown. So this guy isn't even going to get addressed. Like, the other rigs will get moved back, put out of the way. We will we'll put the old lappy will get put away, and the music will come on, and it will come on loud, and we will get to painting, and we will see what tomorrow brings. I had videos built up. The servo test video and the previous video of him, I filmed ahead of time knowing the Christmas Village was coming. So I've now run out. So what you see today, that's it. I gotta figure something out. I'm super happy with it. Another thing that's in the short list is figure out where to park these. Like, there is literally, this is what we're dealing. This is what we're working with. They're everywhere. I don't have any. I never thought I would stand inside a 25 by 25 building and say, I don't have any more room to park my RC cars. I realistically have room for one. I have a parking space for one, but I have four that just park over here in a spot that's supposed to be used for other stuff. I go that way to get Christmas ornaments up and down. I have to move all the rigs, then I got to move them all back. I gotta figure something out. So in the meantime, y'all have a good one, everybody. I got to get to work, and I gotta get to work. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed how this one turned out as much as I did. There's still more to do, and sometime during this week, Lord willing, I would love to do Phoenix. So maybe look forward to that. We'll see how the time crunches. I got to get to painting. You all probably have to get to whatever you're doing. So we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, etc., etc., etc. The usual YouTube stuff. And yeah, have a good one, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.